Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these patchwork fabric star ornaments. For this project you're going to need a few things. You're going to need an assortment of fabrics for the front of your star, and I will talk a bit more about that here in a minute. You're going to need a second fabric for the back. You're going to need ribbon to hang them, stuffing to fill them, buttons for the center, thread and needle to sew, or you can do it on sewing machine like I'm going to do. If you're doing it by hand, you'll probably need pins. You also need a pen or a marker, fabric scissors, and of course the template. For the templates, I've put a link in the description box down below to my Facebook page, which will have patterns that you can copy off for these templates. Just go ahead and print them off and cut them out of cardstock, or you can directly put a piece of paper on the computer screen and trace around them and do it that way. Anyway, this is the backing. You'll want this in a solid color or a complementary color to what you're going to use for the fronts. For the points of the star, this particular template I decided to cut out of the center. Instead of doing just a solid diamond shape, I cut it out of a larger piece of cardstock, and this way I can go ahead and pick and choose what I want each point to be in the fabric. And when you're doing your fabric selection, you can use scraps. That's perfectly fine. I don't have any Christmas fabric scraps lying around, so I went to the fabric store and tried finding fabric that complemented each other, and it was very difficult. So what I ended up doing is getting a patchwork panel like this. I will put a bigger picture up now so you can see what that looks like. But basically what I've done is I've picked a fabric that I can go through and make each point different, but naturally they all complement each other because they are off of the same fabric. So what you're going to want to do is take your template and pick out a section of fabric. It doesn't matter what one you use. We'll just say that one there, and you just want to run a marker or pen around that and then go ahead and cut it out with a pair of scissors. Once you've got quite a few of these diamonds cut out, you can go ahead and take them, and I've already gone ahead and matched these up. Just go ahead and take them and set some out and kind of put them together so they make something that you like. There's one there. Here's another one here, like that. And if one of these doesn't work for you, if you want to take that one out, you can go ahead and mix and match them like that until they are what you want, and then just go ahead and stack the pieces up, and then we're going to go over the sewing machine and start sewing these. Now I've gone ahead and decided that these are the pieces I want to put together like this. So all I'm going to do is take two pieces here, and I'm going to put them right sides together like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here at the very edge of the fabric. I'm going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and once I get to a 1/4 inch away from this bottom edge here, I'm going to stop and I'm going to lock the stitches in place by reversing 3 or 4 stitches. And you don't have to lock the stitches at the beginning. I just do. So once you get to 1/4 inch, and you don't have to be real precise with this, just kind of eyeball it, reverse it up 3 or 4 stitches just to lock that in place. Snip my threads here, and if you want to pin these together you certainly can. I don't find it necessary. And then we're going to add the next piece and do the same thing with all of the other remaining pieces, and we're just going to keep going around until we get all 5 pieces attached to each other. Now once all 5 pieces are connected together, This last seam here, you just want to kind of open this up and put these two seams together and make sure all these points down here are hanging out the bottom. I'm just going to go ahead and sew this up. And this one you might want to pin because they don't want to lay flat with each other, but I'm just going to hold it. And again, back stitch 3 or 4 stitches just to lock that in. Pull that out, snip the threads, and then here is the completed top, just like that. Now all these points in the center don't have to line up, they don't have to match. It's perfectly fine. We're going to put a button in the middle, so no harm there. For the seams, you can iron this if you so choose. I don't. I just kind of finger press it. I just make sure that all the seams are going in a clockwise direction like that. And then in the center here, just kind of pull the points back, take my finger here, and roll the points around so they lay flat. Now to sew the backing on, I've just got the back fabric cut out. I'm going to take the top, I'm going to put these right sides together like that. Then I've got a piece of ribbon that is about 8 inches long or so. I'm going to fold this in half and pick a point on here that you want to be the top, and I'm going to go for this one right here. And you want to take your ribbon and lay it inside between the 2 layers of fabric, like that. And I'm going to match these points up. I know you can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm going to match those points up like that, and I'm just going to put a pin in that point to hold it. Now I'm going to go over directly across from this and start over here and start sewing this together. And again, you can pin this if you so choose. I don't. Down here at the inside corner is where you want to start your stitching. I'm going to set that down, and I'm going to lock these stitches in place by reversing 3 or 4 stitches, and then I'm going to go around. And by having your front on the top, you can see the seam allowances, so that will tell you where you need to stop on these inside corners. I'm going to stop with my needle down, and I'm going to line up these points again. Put my presser foot down, and I'm going to sew until I get to about 1/4 of an inch on that point. Again, stop with your needle down, lift your presser foot, and I'm going to keep going all the way around until I get back to this point that I started at. Now I'm back to the point that I started at, and I'm just going to go down this edge here like normal, and then stop at that 1/4 inch mark, turn it around, and I'm going to go forward about 5 or 6 stitches, and then I'm going to reverse it back 3 or 4 to lock that end seam in. Just like that. I'm going to snip the threads there, and then you want to take this and you want to snip off all of the points right up to the seam allowance. And that gets rid of a lot of extra bulky fabric in those corners, so you can get nice corners. As well, on the inside corners here, you want to snip up right to the seam allowance. And now that we have all the corners snipped, we can go ahead and, where's our opening? Right there. Turn this inside out. And this might take a little work to get this turned inside out. If you can dig in here and find the ribbon that you used for a hanger, you can grab a hold of that and just pull out, and most of this will pull through. And once you get this turned inside out, you want to take a chopstick or some sort of turning tool and just go through and make sure all those corners are out. And then I'm going to take a small piece of fiberfill and I'm going to stuff this in like that, and then I'm going to take this chopstick thing again and I'm going to work this fiberfill down into the points. And once you've gotten all the corners stuffed up, go ahead and stuff the center, and then last you want to stuff this corner here with your opening. And then I'm going to hand sew this closed. Basically all you're going to do is take your both sides of the opening, and if you pull it, the salvage or raw edges will turn under automatically, and then you can just go ahead and sew this up by hand using a matching thread. And then once you get to the end, just go ahead and knot this off. Like that, and then just work this loose end right down into the middle. That. Make sure all the stuffing is evenly distributed across there. And I'm going to take my needle and thread, again in a matching thread to whatever color button you're using. I'm going to take this and put it in through there, kind of eyeball the center right there, pull that knot through to get rid of the end, and then I'm going to sew a button right here in the center. And go ahead and sew that button down. Take the needle and thread through that a good 6, 7, 8 times, and then I'm just going to go through the stitching in the back, and I'm going to secure the thread. And there you have it, your completed patchwork star ornament. Hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching.